My name is Scott Fisher. I'm one of the financial consultants here on our team with John Graham and Associates. And so what we got planned to walk through and talk about here tonight is a great presentation about retirement income planning. We're gonna walk through a couple ideas and some things to be thinking about there as you approach retirement and as you are in retirement there as well. So Chris Franklin, another one of our financial advisors here on our team, is going to be walking through that. And so we're going to have you muted here during the presentation. And then afterwards, we're going to go through, if you have any questions or want us to go back through any of those slides, we'll have a lot of time there at the end to go through that. So without further ado, I'll let Chris take over here and get us going.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Like Scott said, we've got a wonderful presentation on retirement income planning and planning for the rest of your life tonight. So let's go ahead and get into it. So again, tonight we're going to be talking about retirement income planning and planning for income for the rest of your life. And you may be retired longer than you think. So some questions to consider are, will I be able to maintain my lifestyle? Will I be able to meet all of my expenses? How should my assets be allocated? Can I retire now or should I wait? And will my money last? All of those points we will be going over this evening. Where your retirement income comes from, about 38% of it on average comes from pension or Social Security, and 62% of it comes from your own sources, which would be earned income from work, investments, or other outside incomes such as real estate, rental income, things like that. So for tonight's agenda, we're going to learn the financial risks of retirement, understand the benefits of creating a retirement income plan. We're going to go over how to use the planning resources and discuss taking the next step. The 5 key risks of retirement are longevity, healthcare expenses, inflation, asset allocation, and excess withdrawal. The first key risk, longevity, is that we need to plan for living longer than you think. People are living longer than ever these days. And as our graph here shows us tonight, that a male age 65 has a 50% chance of surviving till age 80 and a 25% chance of surviving till age 93. A female age 65 has a 50% chance of attaining the age of 89 and a 25% chance of attaining the age of 95. So when we combine that couple together, a couple age 65 has a 50% chance of one spouse making it to 93 and a 25% chance of one spouse surviving till 98. So we need to plan for your income to last that long. The second key risk in retirement is healthcare expenses. Fidelity estimates that a 65-year-old couple will need approximately $295,000 to cover medical expenses in retirement. Because these are typically covered through one or both people in a couple or spouses workplace while they're working, we need to make sure that we have this covered once you are retired. Out of that $295,000, they estimate that 19% of that will go to prescription drug out-of-pocket costs, 39% will go to associated Medicare Part B and D premiums, and 42% of it will go to Medicare cost-sharing provisions such as co-payments, co-insurance, deductibles, and excluded benefits. The third key risk in retirement is inflation. Even low inflation can damage the purchasing power of your money. If we look at $50,000 today, and we look at just an average inflation of 2%, over the next 25 years, your $50,000 would only be worth $30,477. If we look at 4% inflation, it'd only be worth $18,756. It's amazing to think about what inflation can do. And my biggest thing for inflation for anybody who, when I bring it up, is what was the cost of gas when you started driving? Just 1 gallon of gas. And what was it today? Because when I started driving, it was 50 cents a gallon. And it definitely isn't anywhere near that, although I wish it was sometimes. The fourth key risk to retirement is asset allocation. Retirees may need stocks for the long haul. If we look at a comparison for annual rising costs versus average annual investment returns from 1926 to 2019, we can look at inflation being an average of 3%, with healthcare costs averaging 5.4%. And if we look at the average returns from standard portfolios, so a conservative portfolio would be 20% in stocks, 50% in bonds, and 30% in short-term investments, it averaged a return of 5.94%. Whereas an aggressive growth portfolio, which was 85% stocks and 15% bonds, returned an average of 9.63%. So significantly higher. So something to talk to your financial advisor about what best fits your risk tolerance. Can you afford to take more risk even while in retirement? It may play a big benefit to you. The fifth key risk for retirement is excessive withdrawal. So you want to try to find a sustainable withdrawal rate that can extend the life of your portfolio. This powerful graph in front of you right now shows how a couple retiring in 1972 who had a $500,000 investment retirement account, how well it would perform based on different withdrawal rates. So if the portfolio was set up with 50% stocks, 40% bonds, and 10% in short term, and they withdrew 10% per year, it would last them from 1972 to 1981. Not even 10 years. Whereas if they withdrew an average of 6%, that would extend it all the way out to 1989. So better. However, if they brought it down to 4% per year, it goes off the chart. It's past 2012 and moving forward with the market. So we want to try and find a way to get a sustainable withdrawal rate while maintaining a retirement lifestyle that you want. So let's work together to create a plan. What is a retirement income plan? It's a detailed plan that you and your financial advisor create and determine how you use your assets to generate income that'll last the rest of your life. A typical income retirement plan can help you with minimizing your risks, identifying sources of income, and staying on track to live the retirement you want. The retirement income planning process looks like this. In 4 easy steps, we want to inventory your expenses and income, cover your essential expenses, fund your discretionary expenses, and come up with a way to review your plan regularly. The first step, inventorying your expenses and income, will help you distinguish between your essential and your discretionary expenses. Essential expenses would be like mortgage, rent, healthcare costs, things that you have to pay. Discretionary expenses would be things like hobbies or travel, things that you want to do. The inventory will also help you consider which expenses may increase or decrease in your retirement. You know, maybe your travel expense is very low. Like mine currently is not very high because I have 2 young children and it's the pandemic, so we're going nowhere. However, things like dry cleaning, have to wear a dress shirt and tie, things like that, my dry cleaning expense is higher. So in retirement, maybe those will flip-flop, hopefully. It also helps you consider long-term care coverage to cover the costs for an extended stay somewhere or a long lifespan. The first step to that is estimate your income sources. So while you're inventorying your assets, you want to look at how they're invested. You want to identify lifetime income sources such as Social Security, pensions if you have one, any annuities if you happen to have those. You also want to identify other sources of income like part-time work, rental income if you own real estate, or real estate itself. The second step in the income planning the plan process is covering essential expenses. We want to earmark the income from lifetime sources such as Social Security and pensions or regular withdrawals from your assets to pay these first. And then we want to fill any gaps with possibly a systematic withdrawal from retirement accounts or 401ks, or possibly purchase an annuity that guarantees a lifetime income. You could also consider long-term care or life insurance to potentially cover healthcare costs as needed. Some Social Security considerations are when to start. Most people, the full retirement age is 67. The earliest you can take retirement is 62, and you can delay taking retirement till age 70 to earn earned income credits that will give you a higher income source once you start taking it. So sometimes it's a hard decision on when to take your Social Security benefits. If you took it for a person who had a full retirement benefit at age 67 of $26,856 per year, if they took it early at 62, they would only receive $17,724 per year. And that is a permanent reduction, so that's something to keep in mind. If they waited until they were 70, they would earn $34,092 per year. And while that sounds like a great increase, and it is, some things to consider are, if you took that $17,724 at age 62 and you lived to age 70, you would have received $141,792 already. If you just took it at 67 at your full retirement age, you would have already received $80,568. But if you had waited, you would have received nothing. If you lived to age 80, you would have received $319,032 had you taken it early at 62, or $349,128 had you took it at your full retirement age of 67, or $340,920 had you waited till age 70. If you lived all the way to age 90, you would have earned or received $496,272 had you taken it early, or $681,840 had you waited. So there is a gap, but it takes a while for the delayed credits to outpace early or full retirement age. So it's something to discuss with your financial advisor about on what's going to work best for your plan and your situation. Step 3 is we want to fund those discretionary expenses. In retirement, we all want to live a retirement that we want to live. It's different for everybody. And those retirement things that are discretionary will be things like club memberships, maybe to a golf club, or like a Landmark for tennis, or, racquetball, some kind of club membership, hobbies, travel, vacations, eating out on a more regular basis, going to the movie theater, or sporting events. Maybe you finally get your Bears season tickets. Insert your own team. You want to use income from your remaining assets, so mutual funds, brokerage accounts, IRAs, 401ks, savings accounts, to pay for those discretionary expenses as they're available after your essential expenses. Some income strategies to consider would be interest only, which is just living off the interest of your fixed income investments. You could do a bridge, where you segregate some assets for immediate income and invest the balance to potentially replenish the income sources later. Or you can set up a systematic withdrawal system where you set up prorated withdrawals based on a well-balanced portfolio. Again, discuss with your financial advisor to see what's going to work best for your situation. Part of the plan, you want to determine your target asset mix. So how much should you have in bonds versus equities, short term? The key factors to consider with your financial advisor would be your time horizon. How long do you plan for this money to last? What is your risk tolerance? How comfortable are you seeing swings in the account balance? What is your investment experience? And what is your financial situation? And the last step to the financial planning process for retirement income is monitoring your plan each year. You want to meet with your financial advisor at least once per year to review your income goals as they change throughout your retirement. You want to reassess your expenses to make sure that something hasn't gone up more substantially than you had originally planned, or maybe things have dropped off. You want to look at possibly rebalancing your portfolio to make sure that it's able to keep up with the retirement that you want and hit all the goals that you have set. And you want to update your beneficiaries designations on a regular basis. It's not something everybody wants to think about, but it is something that you have to keep in mind. Things can change that, for instance, in my situation, my grandpa last year actually has decided to switch his beneficiary from my father to me because he found out that my dad hadn't looked at his 401k in 20 years and it scared him. So all new information can come to light that will make you have to make changes. So taking the next step. So the next step is meeting with your financial advisor, making sure that you have a retirement income plan in place. And if you don't, getting one in place that'll help you meet the goals that you have. If you don't have a financial advisor, I'm more than happy to meet with any of you to review a prior plan or help update a plan. My information is here on the screen.